Today we're eating Peranakan food.
What is it?
Mix of Chinese and Malay, Chinese ingredients, Malay spices, cooking techniques from both, and you get this mix of complexity and depth.
It's also highly communal food, but we're not going to be the ones to tell you. Little Social is going to tell you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm Daniel. Yeah. So currently I'm running a Little Social, which is a private home dining, and we serve authentic home cooked Peranakan food. I'm from a Peranakan background, so I also hope to kind of share this culture and the cuisine with everybody.
What is Peranakan culture?
Our forefathers, they come from China from the 15th century to probably the 18th or 19th century. So they settled here around like the Straits of Melaka, mainly Melaka, Penang and Singapore, and then they kind of created a family with the local ladies.
Okay.
Mainly are Malays, and then there was Indians, and then of course Eurasians as well. This mix of culture is very colorful in terms of the food, in terms of their lifestyle as well. Through my knowledge, Peranakan cuisine could be one of the earliest fusion food in the world.
What was the inspiration? Because we've got a lot of color, a lot of just almost like a fusion as well, right?
Yes, just like the food. So a lot of our furnishings are, it's Chinese inspired.
Right.
Yeah, but again, we have touches of the Western, like maybe in terms of other decors and furnishings.
And you had mentioned like you even have heirloom pieces.
We do use some of our tablewares. That's from my family collection.
Yeah,
So you could see that we mix our Peranakan heritage furnishings with some Art Deco stuff.
Yeah.
Over here we have two of the main ingredients. So this one here is it's called Buah. It's also called known as candlenut. So this is the one that we use to thicken paste.
Okay.
In the rempah, like the Licorice. He wants to eat too. That we call it the Sambal belachan, but we also use it in a lot of basically seafood-based dishes.
Okay.
Yeah, for the rempah. Well, some people call it a pungent smell, but but when you cook it, it just tastes different. Makes your dish taste wonderful.
You get very umami, fermented, shrimpy kind of notes, right?
Yeah, that's rendang. Yeah, we make the paste. You can always make it earlier. Rempahs are like the fundamentals of the Peranakan dish. So this is where a lot of work comes in as well. Okay, so I'm going to cook beef rendang now.
Some lemongrass going in.
Yeah, lemongrass.
Rempah. Daniel, what kind of cut of beef is this?
Oh, that's a beef shin. Yeah, it's the best part for rendang because it withstands, the heat. It gets softened, but it doesn't break easily.
And how long are these gonna cook for?
Oh, usually about 3 to 3.5 hours. So usually what I do is as I stir, I add in a bit more coconut milk at a time. By the 3rd hour,
Okay.
everything will be reduced.
Wow. Smells aromatic already.
Tamarind peels, actually.
Ah.
Yeah. You can't really taste it, but you need it to balance off because the paste for beef is actually full of spices. Yeah, there's cumin, there's coriander, and then there's turmeric as well. So it's actually quite strong. This is a photo of my great-grandparents on the wedding day. And this was the photo that they used for the matchmaking. Peranakan culture, we follow a lot of the Chinese tradition in those days.
Okay.
So, Peranakan families tend to matchmake their children.
Wow.
Or to reject.
So love
But she still
prevails.
chose my grandfather.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess my grandma enjoyed her life really a lot, the finer things in life. That's how I was influenced or rather inspired to do home dining. I always joke that my grandfather was very well fed, so my grandma was really a good cook. Usually the meals that I prepare are something that something that I enjoy eating, growing up till now. We're gonna serve lemongrass rice today with the dishes. So the first one here is actually called Ikan Balado. It's a fish dish, hails from the Indonesian Peranakan cuisine. So, I've used red snapper fillet, marinate in lime juice, then deep fry the fillet. Then I pour this balado sauce over it, which is made of lots of tomatoes with belachan. which is a shrimp paste. And then in this gamcheng here is actually our Nonya Chye. I would say I fry a drier version of the Chye, but it's richer in terms of the taojiao taste. So taojiao is actually the bean paste. It's actually vegetables like cabbage, there's Chinese mushrooms, there's lily buds and black fungus. And then next we have the Nonya Satay Babi Goreng. So this is actually using pork. I actually fry it in a rempah that tastes a bit like, you know, the satay sauce. Yeah, but I actually fry it with coconut milk as well. A very iconic Peranakan dish, which is the Ayam Buah with pork ribs. Yeah, so you know, we need to soak the candlenut for at least about 3 to 5 days, cleaning it up, and then after that, I will actually break it open and then we dig out the fruit inside. And what I do is I braise the fruit with the meat together so the flavor infuses better into the pork ribs and the chicken. Yeah, so you know, the candlenut is all in the gravy.
Look at this, just came off the bone.
And then we have the beef rendang. Yeah, so I actually use beef sheen, braise it for at least about 3 to 3.5 hours. So continuously stirring it and adding in coconut milk to richen and thicken the flavor. So the beef is rather tender. Yeah. And one more dish, which is the Sambal Udang Petai. Yeah, so that one is using a recipe that's from my grandma to my mom. And so now I've used it, I fried it together with the Petai beans, which actually goes well with the Sambal. Yeah. And of course, on the sides, we have my Nonya Achar, for the pickled vegetables. And if you can take a bit of spiciness, I think I have this Sambal belachan there. So enjoy the lunch.
We're so excited. So, and thank you so much for preparing the food. Like we can already feel the love here.
So crunchy.
Today, the star for me is the fish. The way they retain the crispy skin is, wow, mind-blowing.
My second favorite, I think, would be the prawns. Spicy a little bit, but very well balanced.
I still like the japchae. I never get really tired of it. It just reminds me of like home cooked food.
I think for me, like either the Sambal Udang or the candlenut, I actually like the Petai, so like that adds something nice for me.
But when it came to balancing and refreshing the palate, the achar complemented it really nicely.
And I think by the end, everything just becomes a mishmash. So it's like every bite you get something new, like harmony, new thing takes center stage.
I'm gonna go with the pork satay one.
Every single dish was mentioned just by different people.
Yeah, I believe that when you enjoy food, right, it should bring back some happy memories.
Wow!
Wow!
Sago? Sago!
We like it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
It just melts in your mouth.
It was so cool to be able to get a glimpse of your heritage and your journey, to be able to share. We could taste the love in each of the ingredients in the food, and everybody had such a great time. It really was this communal love of like Peranakan, your food, the culture, everything that you shared. So thank you so much for having us
My
here.
pleasure. I'm always happy, you know, when I see guests enjoy the meal, and especially when, you know, you finished everything. That's the greatest encouragement for someone who cooks.
Yeah.
No, we really loved it. So thank you so much, and we can't wait to be back.
Look forward.
Leila says Sambal is no joke.
No joke.
Okay.
Clears the sinuses.
For all the Canadians in the room, it's kind of like maple syrup, but like there's impurities that go with the sugar.
Yeah, that's a great description. What did you learn about Peranakan cuisine?
I know that it was very laborious. It would take hours to prepare, and people will wake up like 4 in the morning to prepare the spices, pound the spices. My gauge is also like how fragrant the spices are.
Yeah.
You should know it tastes good before you eat it. Just by smelling it, you should really start to drool. Like, what's that dog downstairs?
Whiskey.
Whiskey. Drool like whiskey. It's good Peranakan food.